All right, listeners, have you ever heard of a trade war breaking out over an island?
An island.
Yeah, an island. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we're diving into today, so buckle up.
It's intriguing.
Yeah, so we're talking about Greenland. More specifically, the president-elect wants it. And he's not afraid to use some pretty strong tactics to get it.
Well, he's certainly not subtle, is he?
No, not really. So he's basically told Denmark, look, if you don't sell me Greenland, I'm slapping tariffs on your goods.
Yeah.
And get this isn't even the first time he's tried this whole buying Greenland thing.
Yeah.
Remember back in 2019?
Oh, yeah, that was quite the news cycle, wasn't it? I mean, just the idea of a country trying to buy another country. Like it's something out of a movie.
Right. It's not exactly how international relations usually work.
Eh.
But like we said, he's persistent. And that kind of makes you wonder, what is it about Greenland? What's so special about it that has the president-elect, willing to risk a trade war?
Well, Greenland's in a pretty strategic location, right between North America and Europe.
Yeah.
And that puts it right in the middle of some very important shipping routes.
So like control of Greenland could give the U.S. a big advantage in, Arctic shipping.
Yeah.
Could even cut travel times to Asia. I mean,
Exactly. And then you've got the resources Greenland is sitting on.
resources. Like what kind of resources?
Well, there's oil for one,
Mm-hmm.
and then minerals. Lots of minerals. And we're not just talking about any old minerals, we're talking rare earth elements.
Uh-huh.
And those are super important for making all kinds of things, from smartphones to advanced weapons systems.
So basically stuff that every country wants and needs.
Exactly. And as the global demand for those resources keeps going up, Greenland's potential value just keeps climbing.
Yeah, especially with climate change, accelerating the melting of the ice sheet.
Right, making those resources even more accessible.
But of course, that also brings up a whole bunch of environmental concerns.
Oh, absolutely.
So with all this going on, the Danish prime minister has called this situation serious. Which, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's putting it mildly. What options does Denmark have here? How do they even respond to this kind of pressure?
Well, Denmark's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously want to protect their interests in Greenland, but they also don't want to start a trade war with the U.S. So maybe they try to negotiate some kind of compromise, offer some concessions on those resource extraction rights in exchange for the U.S. promising not to impose tariffs. But at the end of the day, they're going up against a much more powerful opponent.
Yeah, it's interesting because, Denmark's not usually a country that's in the spotlight like this.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike some other European nations, they tend to keep a fairly low profile when it comes to global politics.
Yeah, that's true. But this whole situation has kind of thrust them into the center of attention and forced them to take a stand.
Exactly. And the president-elect's argument is that controlling Greenland is vital to U.S. economic security. What do you make of that argument?
Well, it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, having access to Greenland's resources could be a big win for the U.S. economy. But some people see this as just a power grab, a way for the U.S. to assert dominance in the Arctic.
Right.
And then you've got to consider the ethics of it all, potentially exploiting a region that's already dealing with the effects of climate change.
All really important points. So where does all this leave us? I mean, we've got a president-elect making some bold moves, a small nation caught in the middle, and the possibility of a trade war with global implications.
Yeah, and this could really set a precedent for how powerful nations interact with smaller ones in the future, especially when it comes to control over strategically important territories and resources.
So much to think about. It's like, could this be the start of a whole new era of international relations, where economic and strategic interests are just more important than traditional diplomacy?
That's the question, isn't it?
A question we'll have to keep exploring. That's our deep dive for today. Until next time.